Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are returning to Strategic Command World War II War in the Pacific. It is April of 1943, and we've got a mixed bag on our hand. First off, Japan's land strength is so much greater than I realized. They have 109 units. All of the allies combined are in the 70s, so we're way behind on land strength. It is starting to be felt, especially in northern China, where the Japanese have been able to start whittling away at some of our forces up there, so we'll see if we can hold in place. We've had limited successes destroying a Japanese tank army near Hubei. We've also managed to push in the south, where the Japanese, I think, kind of underinvested some of their forces by taking Canton and Hong Kong back from the Japanese, and perhaps threatening to flank a force here in the Fujian province, and maybe we can push on Fuzhou, maybe from the flank. We'll see. I'm not super optimistic, but it could happen. We also have at least two units surrounded near Pakoi, but again, we don't have the supply or headquarters infrastructure to really push harder there. Additionally, in India and in Burma, we're feeling that discrepancy as well, as the British continually kind of have to deal with difficult situations, I'd say, right now in this theater, where the Japanese air power advantage is also coming in strong. They've got 12 air units. America has 5, China has 2, Great Britain or Australia has 1. So we're outnumbered in the air also. Naval-wise, we're in a little bit better shape. Japan has 29 warships total. The Americans have 29 as well, and then when you add the British and the Australians, that's an advantage of 11 ships. Although the British fleet is largely just sort of chilling back here, not doing a whole lot. We did send one destroyer into sort of this isn't the South China Sea, but I guess east of the Gulf of Siam here, north of Borneo, east of Singapore. We'll see what happens with that ship this turn. I sent them there because we've engaged a Japanese task force here. We sank 2 heavy cruisers and the super battleship Yamato in this area here. We've been pushing to try and go for Enuitok, an important island. We've taken Majuro, we've taken Kwajalein, Roy Namur, Tarawa, and so we've got a central Pacific island campaign going here. We've got a couple of units ready to land on Enuitok next turn, but we've noticed at least an escort carrier, 2 more heavy cruisers in addition to the 2 we already destroyed. Makes me nervous they may be deploying their whole fleet in this direction. I don't know if that's true or not. We still have the bulk of the fleet has been spotted in and around the Bismarck Archipelago, but that is potentially a threat. To that end, I'm going to take a preemptive action here. I'm going to go ahead and throw some of our Australian troops here, which apparently for some reason have better land weapons than the Americans, on transports here near Australia. I don't think it likely that Japanese are going to go after our whole fleet, but if they are, I want to be ready. So we're going to go ahead and send the Americans on these transports also. And the plan here will be, if the Japanese, and this is a big if, but if the Japanese end up, moving toward the rest of our fleets here, we will be ready to take advantage of that with a limited landing on Guadalcanal here with a pretty considerable force, actually. If you think about it, that's what, 4 landing craft here, where we could potentially take back a capital and a national morale objective here and sort of put a boot on the bottom of this this theater here. I don't know that they're going to do that. I don't really have any particular reason to think that they will, but worth taking the chance, I think. They have been pushing on Moresby here, using a lot of air power around this area, so it's going to be important if we do make a rush for Guadalcanal that we land and not worry about taking everything out. It's going to be a shoestring operation for sure if we go that route. Getting the troops ashore and then hopefully just having so many men that we can overwhelm the enemy and take the objective before supplies become an issue. Again, if that happens, I don't know that it will. Yeah. So we've got pretty much the entire U.S. High Seas fleet. We're not Germany. Pretty much the U.S. whole fleet is there. We do have an Iowa class, which was recently commissioned, which we will sprint out toward Hawaii. It won't probably get there in time if there is an engagement. And then we've got another battleship, which hasn't upgraded its sub-warfare tech yet, but I'd rather get it out this way sooner rather than later, so let's go ahead and send them as well. And then did I see a destroyer up here somewhere? Oh, we got 2 subs. All right, well, let's Try to get them out that way also. I don't think they'll get there in time. I forgot about these guys for a few turns. But we'll see if we can get our subs out that way. I don't know that there's anybody else out this way. I guess we'll move our Dutch subs. I can't move them at flank speed. I think they've got some supply constraints. And then we do have a couple of destroyers in Australia. Apparently there's a Japanese sub off Perth. But yeah, like, I guess we'll see what happens there. We do have some... we have some new units to deploy too. So Australia's got a heavy artillery unit, which we'll deploy here. The U.S. has a escort carrier, which unfortunately I can't get any closer to the battle. A heavy bombardment group here, which we can operate into the vicinity, and then a marine group here, which we'll get there next turn. Not next turn, but we'll get them there as quickly as we can. So that's where we find ourselves. I don't want to land here quite yet. Alright. Let's get this heavy cruiser down in front of... We should really screen our carrier from potential enemy attacks as best we can. And kind of also our landing craft here. Just in case. I don't know that they're going to come our way, but I shouldn't really be taking it for granted that they won't. Alright, so we've got 400 MPPs left. Is there anything we should be researching as the US? I think we're nearly maxed out. We're nearly maxed out, not quite. Naval weaponry is already researching 2. Long-range aircraft, I guess we can do another chit there. We got to level 3 advanced fighters. We could start upgrading those aircraft ASAP, but none of our carriers are within range of a port to do that after the battle today. I think, you know, if we're going to have another battle here, we should probably spend some on some ships that, I mean, they're going to take a while. It's going to be like 45. Let's see, 12 turns. They're going to take a long while before they're ready. Destroyers don't take as long, but they're not as powerful. Maritime bombers also don't take as long. They can help. I feel like a battle cruiser might be worthwhile. Just one long lead time weapon, I guess. And then the British have 200 MPPs. They badly need more troops in Burma. What's their current research situation on the infantry weapons? They do have level 2. They just haven't been able to upgrade to it because they don't have the space. Yeah, they've basically got no R&D going right now. They need more money is what they need. They do have level 3 sub-warfare. We'll keep the rest on the table. And then for China, let's get a discounted replacement corps for the casualty we took. Alright. We'll end the turn and see what happens here. Oh, let's zoom in before we do that. Chinese morale is boosted by the liberation of Nanning. Japanese national morale falls due to the loss of Nanning. They're now below 100% on their national morale, which is great. Eniwetok isn't a national morale center, but it is a PT-109 hit by rough seas. Poor JFK. But it's still very high, but it does look like it's dropped below 100% national morale. Eniwetok isn't a national morale center, but it is... You know, it is a supply center, so it'll assist our drive toward the Marianas. Amphibious warfare level 3 for the U.S. Maybe that'll unlock long-range transports. That'd be real nice. I don't have that yet. Production level 3 for China. Industrial level 3 for China. That should help their income, I would assume. Alright, well, let's see what happens here. Here comes Japan's turn. Alright, a cruiser's going for a sub here north of Truk. Didn't do anything, but it did commit itself. A fleet... I did not have my money on a fleet carrier deploying to hit our troops near Nanning. Oh, but a fleet carrier also going for our battleships here near Eniwetok. Our fighters escorts took out 3 of the enemy air wing before they dropped their bombs on the first raid, but they did 4 damage. 3 more on the second raid, but they still managed to sink that battleship. Fuck. Another fleet carrier going against our subs. I will take that. Thank you. So we did lose a battleship. That's a pretty big loss. Is that a third carrier? Because they only get 2 attacks per carrier, right? And then the escort carrier came out to play. They're going for... Is that an armored cruiser they're going for? No, they're going for our fleet carrier. Or no, they're going for a destroyer. Okay. Heavy cruiser just destroyed our destroyer there. I'm not sure why they're focusing on our destroyers. Maybe they think it'll give them an... I don't know if they have a lot of subs they think it'll give them an advantage for. But they're really going hard for those destroyers. Weird. Alright, battleship against a light cruiser of ours. 2 battleships against light cruisers of ours. They sank that. Battleship ran into a destroyer screen of ours to the south. So this appears to be send main body. It seems to be the vast majority of the Japanese fleet. They do have a carrier off the coast of China that we know about. But other than that, this seems to be the vast majority of their naval forces have committed to this battle. The question is, do we want to fight the battle? Like, we could do great damage to the enemy. They've already done substantial damage to us, but the problem is, how much damage are we willing to take, right? Like, if we destroy them but they destroy us, is the Pyrrhic victory worth enough? Or does that then tilt the hand of land-based air so heavily that it makes it impossible for us to continue our offensive across the Pacific, right? Does it make more sense to bide our time for another year before we try and fight this battle when we've got more ships to do it with? Or does it make sense to go now and eliminate the... Because the Japanese Navy hadn't been doing much, right? Like, their carriers have been bombing Moresby, but that's about it. So, I don't know. Meanwhile, we did move our British carrier back to provide some air cover to the troops in... and there goes a Chinese army. A communist army just got wiped out. But we have been using our... You know, they haven't been using their carriers for much. So, like... If we retreat now toward Pearl, they'll probably not pursue. But we just lost all those ships. Now, I don't know how far they're going to get after all those actions, either. So I guess we'll have to see. Now, it does potentially open up the opportunity for a, you know, hit-and-run attack toward... And there's a destroyer. Toward Guadalcanal. Well, their destroyers have showed up. At least one of them was locked in... The 2 destroyers appear to be locked in place. I don't know how far the battleships or cruisers got. I would think they wouldn't have very many movement points because they had to come all the way from Rabaul. Like that, it wasn't double time speed, but it was probably at the near the edge of their range. So, I guess we'll see. We lost the destroyer Benham, Taylor. We lost the South Dakota battleship and Cleveland light cruiser. Also the 8th Route Army. Our destroyer in the South Pacific destroyed 6 MPPs worth of Japanese ships. We get another heavy cruiser this turn and a marine fighter wing. But I can't really use them yet. Alright, so let's... I mean, the goal here is to find out where the enemy is, right? Well, there's 2 battleships. There's a carrier. Nearly had that destroyer sunk, finding it, but... There's another carrier. And a cruiser. Okay, so... do we do a mixed raid? What does that give us? 1-to-1? I wonder if it makes more sense to just set to 1-to-3 for bombers. What if we just have our battleships go sink this carrier? 1-to-3 for the battleship. It's not the best odds. Granted, that battleship was damaged. 1-to-5 for a healthy battleship. Let's not do that. Alright, we just sank the Shokaku, so they lost a fleet carrier now. What's the naval odds now? They're at 29. They got a new ship. We're at 26. So would we lose 3-4 ships? Alright, so they got 2 battleships back here. We just sank a carrier. There's a light carrier over here. Alright, sank a light carrier. So 1 light carrier, 1 battleship sunk, or 1 light carrier, 1 fleet carrier sunk. Let's send our bombers in, just set mode to, let's just set mode to bombers. Got at least 1 more carrier in the area. There it is, back here. Alright, so we lost 2 of the air wing. Sank the battleship with ours. Do we have the battleships to... Oh, there's 2 carriers here. Alright, so that carrier fled to port, which means we won't be able to hit it with more naval power, so we'll go for the other carrier. Our Dutch sub is going to run into a Japanese destroyer on its way to the battle. I think that was set to mixed, or maybe they were just to bombers, I'm not sure. Alright, we're dealing with enemy air groups here in these attacks. They've still got more interceptors, huh? Got him. They can't reach this guy? Alright, go for the battleship you can reach, I guess. Alright, sank that battleship. And apparently did no damage to that enemy. Alright, so we got 1 more cruiser that can do stuff, but we can't really effectively hit guys in port. I'm hoping our carriers are safe from... There's another battleship here? Fuck. Okay. I'm gonna put my... Alright, so our light cruiser can possibly go sink this enemy light cruiser. Or at least damage it. Then we'll put it in... It's in front of the carriers too, so that should help protect them. So we definitely went the whole give 'em hell approach. Alright, I don't know where... I think I saw another enemy ship sail out toward our, troop transport, which makes me... Actually, let's just pull the troop... Fuck! I was gonna say, just pull the troop transport back. Just be safe. And he gets intercepted in the process. Alright, maybe that battleship will keep it somewhat safe. Probably not. Where's the other warships? They're all too far away. I guess we can put our subs as a line in front of this troop transport, hoping that it doesn't get hit. Swing our super battleship out west. Maybe they can get into the fight next turn. We've got our fleet carrier also, or our escort carrier also, which is a ways away. Can we operate our bomber anywhere to where they can do anything? They're probably too far away. Well, maybe they can do something down here. Meanwhile, on Guadalcanal, it looks like our Australian troops can make it. And our American troops. Hell yeah, brothers. Alright, is that enough? Apparently not. Can these guys move? So supply is going to end up becoming a problem for these guys. So the Americans would have been better off with like an amphibious assault on the actual Japanese forces there. These guys were dug in, right? They're still dug in. Okay. I still don't have transport level 3 or whatever. Alright, we put our subs into the slot. And Japanese air power will probably doom us. We'll see. Maybe we can get these guys ashore. I mean, there's no real way to draw supplies, so I don't know if they instantly go to 0 or if it's a gradual thing. I'm hoping it's a gradual thing. Maybe for the special forces it is. I'm guessing the Australians will just immediately start losing attrition, and we won't be able to pull them off the beach because they have no port to pull out of. So this may be a disaster, but we're going for it. I wonder if they'll pull their carriers back after all these. So where are we at now? So they're at 25 units and we're at 26. So they lost 4 warships. I feel like they lost more expensive warships so far anyway. All right. Let's see if we can take Shantou. Alright, so we took this port city in China. We'll begin driving toward Fuzhou next turn, I think. Let's reinforce these troops near Nanning. I need another headquarters unit there to help, but I can't because I don't have enough strength in the north. Alright, let's see if we can destroy this Japanese marine unit. Heavy artillery hit them first. Go with an army unit. Get 2, lose 1. 1 to 1. Garrison unit will move just to get out of the way. And we drove them back. We didn't destroy them, but we drove them back. Mechanized forces are surprising. I guess it's probably the terrain. Surprisingly vulnerable. That attack didn't do anything. Threatening Hanoi with a garrison unit? Well. Oh, we did lose a Chinese Communist Army unit up this way. Do we have any Chinese units ready to deploy this turn? We do not. We've got our 1 heavy bomber unit here. It'll do some MPP damage here in Beijing. Strategic bombers hitting Beijing. Maybe it'll hurt their entrenchments. I don't know. Should have used it against the cavalry here. Can we upgrade some of these units? Okay. That cavalry unit may get punished. Let's go after that marine unit specifically to try and shield the cavalry unit. It'll be a bit of a spoiling attack, as I like to do. So ideally we'd reduce this pocket at Pakoi, move this army east. What's the supply next turn? 5, 6, 4. Okay, so let's... Oh, shit. So we moved an army in here. I don't know what these Japanese units... Their supply's pretty bad, too. So there's 3 enemy units in this pocket, which we might be able to assault for Nanning. Supply is not great for us, but 4 and 6 is enough to attack with. 8 is enough to attack with. We can get down that road. These guys are also kind of screwed, I think. I don't know. I don't know! Let's reinforce the British carriers. Nice. So we're doing some damage to a Japanese Marine unit here. Didn't destroy it, but... Right, there is a Japanese Marine unit on the coast. We're gonna do whatever we can to get our Navy in the action. Maybe we should even be sending them in toward the Chinese theater, bombard some Japanese troops along there, cut their supply. But the problem is they've got so many air units that I'm worried that our naval units will just get rocked from the sky. At least down here I've got some air cover. Alright, we'll send one destroyer, the Hotspur, in toward that way. This is the Burma-Japan supply route. Move that other U.S. destroyer out that way. Commerce raiding cruiser will also go join the fray. I'm guessing most of their air is deployed in places they can't reach, like their interior lines. Alright, all these guys move. They'll probably get the first Australian Corps here. They'll probably manage to destroy it. Okay. Still don't have the long-range transports. All right. Is that everybody? Our forlorn assault on Guadalcanal is underway. Unless the supply is more forgiving. But I'm guessing these guys are going to all be without supply next turn. Ugh. I don't even know if dropping an HQ in would make a difference. Like maybe if we dropped it on San Cristobal? If San Cristobal is even unoccupied? Can't even do an amphib. We'll see if San Cristobal is occupied. We'll try and land there next turn. If I can put a headquarters unit here, maybe it'll radiate out to save these guys before they starve out. Alright. So, I think that's everybody? Just units we've already moved or don't want to move with. I'm not going to move the communist stuff. Alright. We do have some money. US has 400 money. The headquarters are important, but I feel like they're not as important for the US because I never get to use them. If I could only speed up super battleship construction, because 15 turns is a long time. We don't get a discounted battleship option? Oh, I'm gonna do it just because I need the Wisconsin. Like, come on, guys. You can't not have the USS Wisconsin, right? Alright. The British... They've lost a garrison. We'll hold off until they lose a different unit I can more cheaply replace. Right, 2 cores. One of those is going to go to the interior to free that tank unit up. And I think that does it for this turn. So let's see what the next turn has in store. That was a long one. Vessels in the slot impede flow of supplies to Guadalcanal. Our vessels. Good job, boys. U.S. invasion forces damage Japanese supply depots. Japanese defenders suffer heavy losses. Really? Where does it say that, though? They're not losing any men. As far as I can tell, they didn't lose anything. Like, that would have been nice if they lost, if there was an event that triggered, and they'd be like, oh yeah, they're losing men. Okay, so maybe moving cruisers into the South China Sea was not advisable. I just finished off the destroyer. They at least had a heavy cruiser, it looks like they moved against us. They probably have some ships in the South China Sea acting as escort for their fleet carriers there. You gotta think they have to have something. Meanwhile, their destroyers are mopping up some subs of ours and some of our damaged destroyers. Man, that's a lot of fucking destroyers. Fleet carrier's gonna prop... Wow, they only did 2 damage to that destroyer, huh? Okay. Oh, I shift all my arrow to escorts, so they weren't even able to do anything there against those. Oh well. Hey, yes! They moved their carrier and it's still in the area, so they are not retreating. Meanwhile, their heavy cruiser tried, I guess, to go for our landing craft and ended up running into our battleship and was badly damaged. They did move an armored cruiser here against a carrier. Alright. That battle didn't go well. Don't finish off that battleship. So they are damaging our battleships heavily with surface vessels. And they're going to sink one. They sank the light cruiser? Why? Wouldn't you go for the more valuable ship? Like, I know destruction of a unit is valuable, but why? Alright, they surrounded my troops that were trying to surround Beijing. Maritime bombers going after my subs, which frankly that's the least of my concerns. Fleet carriers providing escort for or cover for my land-based units in Burma, or India, I guess technically. I wish the AI was scripted so that it moved units in certain theaters at once, rather than like this kind of haphazard, kind of confusing. Like, Chinese units move some, but then don't do anything, and then you go do something else, and then the Chinese units go back and attack. Like, it's a little confusing to try and follow. Wow, they wrecked that core in a single attack. Alright, they're counterattacking toward Canton. I might be able to slip behind that army that is going in that direction and destroy it. Meanwhile, out of Wuhan, they destroyed that garrison unit. Not terribly surprising. They badly damaged our Australian troops here on Guadalcanal. Those guys are all probably going to be in a horrible supply situation. They're going to be starving to death. Mechanized forces trying to cut in behind us also at Canton. So they are launching a counterattack here in the south. I know their fleet carrier has maxed out its movement points. I don't know about anybody else, but... So this would be the point where it probably would be ideal to start pulling our carriers and other ships back. Unless we can assure that we destroy it. But we're getting a lot of intel on frozen in-place enemy ships. It'll be tempting to try and mop up on them. Alright, we might be able to destroy that marine unit. They didn't destroy the Australian core in Burma, surprisingly. Port defenses. What port defenses? We didn't suffer any attrition on Guadalcanal? So we lost the Truant, the British sub. We lost the Juno light cruiser and the Pringle destroyer. All told, that those are small and not... Yeah, zero supply. Okay, that's fucked. Alright, so I actually did most of this turn now, and then the game had some weird bug where, like, I was clicking to change my aircraft carriers from mixed to bombers or bombers to escorts, and it was wherever I clicked on the screen to do that, like I clicked in the right spot, but it's like the click went through the UI, through that overlay where it said bomber or fighter, and then told my carrier to move to that spot on the map as well. So it did this weird thing where, like, I was clicking to change the status of the fighters, and it changed that status, but it also issued a move order to the unit. And so I did save scum to get back to the beginning of the turn, because I thought that was rather frustrating, and that I shouldn't have to do that. So we're going to reload the turn here. I edited out the vast majority of what occurred then, so you're not watching duplicate stuff. I did show at the beginning of this little explanation what happened. But let's go ahead and jump back in here. We got different intel. They got a light carrier in Osaka. That's interesting. All right, so we are going to do this whole thing again, I guess, this whole turn, because the, like, whatever, that was obviously a bug. Like, what the fuck was that? Okay. I guess that gives us an advantage in Australia, huh? Alright, let's destroy this battleship first. Well, it's going to be hard once they retreat into port, because you can't effectively hit them with naval vessels in port. Yep, I know they've got interceptors. That's okay. Alright, there you go. 2 and 2. Sink the bastards. My air wings are getting nice and attritted. Not doing jack shit on these bombing raids of this carrier in port. Despite the predictions. Oh, there we got it. Alright, is that all the carrier attacks? It is. Okay, so... And that battleship already fought. I want to try and get my sub at the battleship in port, so I am going for a destroyer because of that. I know I was just like, why are they going for destroyers? But that's why. Oh, fuck. Alright. Maybe we can finish off this heavy cruiser. Yep. Shattered, 460 national morale. Will it move? It won't. Oh, come on, sub. Finish him off. Alright, we gotta have our subs give some cover. God, these destroyers just don't want to die, huh? Alright, so we drove that enemy ship into port. I don't think we can do anything against it in port. Which makes me inclined to just go for the big stuff, which I guess I should have been going for all along. Alright. Well, we got the heavy cruiser. So they're down to 22 warships versus our 25. I wonder if they're going to keep... I think the safest path to security is moving the carriers south. Although there's enemy heavy cruisers on every side of that. Can we cover them well enough? Maybe it's moving north. We've already got some ships in sort of a mini cordon out here. Okay, hopefully these carriers are safe. We might lose one of these battleships is down to like 2. We could lose that guy, but... also got our escort carrier working on getting over that way. We'll see. The enemy still has a lot of ships. I don't exactly know where. I know at least some of them are in the South China Sea. Ideally, we can pull them back to Pearl and maybe under cover of some of these fighters. So that may put a stop to our drive on any Weetalk, at least for now. I would think they're going to let these ships repair, maybe? Like, you really going to attack forward with a level 1 destroyer? We got a couple of ships that are in good shape, but on the whole, not so much. Is there anything at Boone? Just in case. These guys are all, as we saw before, all kind of fucked. So the Marines can load back up, interestingly enough. The other guys can't. Huh. Maybe the Marines go for Boone? If there was any way to get one casualty from them, that would be great. So Bougainville might be able to be taken by us. Probably not. There is a port there, though. Would sure be nice. And we should probably move a headquarters unit out that way, right? Because, like, if we take Bougainville... I mean, I don't know that we will, but if we do take it... I mean, maybe these guys get starved out. I mean, our troops have zero supply, too, so... I'm going to see about moving the Marines toward Bougainville next turn. These guys should have a strike, right? Maybe. We'll move the Americal around. I guess we'll see. I feel like I'm on a shoestring operation in the South Pacific, just grasping at straws. I don't really want to move my fleet here into the South China Sea after what we saw that the Japanese were springing more stuff toward us. I'd rather let these guys wear their barrel linings out and bombard. Theoretically, they could move for Hong Kong, I guess. Probably get destroyed in harbor, though. Where were they? I thought they were... Weren't they, like, right there? Oh, they're there. I guess they've got a level 2 naval weapon tech. I'm like, why are they shooting even with a heavy and a light cruiser shooting even? I don't know, maybe we should have moved the British stuff over that way. Alright, so they're trying to get in behind our troops at Canton and cut them off. Maybe even retake Hong Kong. So I'll move in behind them and surround them. Now, that does leave the problem of Changsha, so we are going to have to send some troops down that way. Which shouldn't be a problem. Let's move that army unit down here into those fortifications. And just kind of pivot everybody south, I guess. So hopefully that keeps these guys safe while we've cut off a mechanized and army unit in that direction. We'll launch an airstrike on the mechanized force, hopefully to weaken it so that it can't do too much versus us. Hanoi can't be unoccupied, right? There's got to be something there. I would think. Yeah, there's a garrison unit there. Okay. They're actually better off here, adjacent to that city they can draw from. Okay, it'll be interesting to see what happens in South China, but hey, they made contact with the headquarters unit. I'm just trying to cause chaos down here. Aw, I thought maybe they had moved this unit south toward Beijing to try and, or not try and do anything really, but just to leave Kalgan open, but I was wrong. Alright everybody, we've been going for about an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and jump in here and wrap this episode up. I hope you guys are enjoying Strategic Command World War II, War in the Pacific. And until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'm out.